Good day again from Tunisia, and we're just going to go around the Carthage, in English, Carthage area. It was actually a very well established, not only just a city, but a well established civilization that at some point actually almost rivaled Rome. I hope that you guys enjoy this little trip. Let's go! It used to be a cathedral of St. Louis. It's not a functioning cathedral anymore. Now it's called the Acropolium, and they hold concerts and whatnot here now. So the architecture in here is very, very nice. Byzantine and Moorish architecture. Although it's not as old as the normal ruins in Carthage. This thing was built in like 1894 or something like that, so it's still pretty old according to the standards of the Caribbean. You know what I mean? It's always amazing how they made these places of worship a place of wonder and awe. You know, they had their reasons for doing that. Let's go upstairs. I'm no expert in architecture by any means, but you can definitely see a mix of Roman influences of pillars, arches. I guess that's the more Moorish influence, somewhat Islamic. You know, it does seem like something you might see in a mosque or whatnot. So it's a nice mix of styles. The cathedrals I've been in Europe and New York and whatnot, you can't really walk here because this is where, you know, the priests and whatnot would be. But because this is not a functioning cathedral, we could come basically anywhere. So it's pretty good to kind of get a inside look like this, you know. So many things and so much sights to cover today. You know, we can't spend too long inside here. Looking at all the details, you could easily get caught up and spend all day and not even realize it. We have to move on. We're going to head out. This is built right on Bisra Hill, and there's so much more to see. So we're not actually leaving the location yet. We're just going to see our next set of ruins from even a further and more ancient time. So Bisra Hill, we're going to go into the Carthage Museum, take a look around, and then we're going to look at Punic ruins and whatnot, all located in this location. This here is a very good example. In Carthage, there is history upon history. Different levels. You have Phoenician, Roman, Vandal, Byzantine, Islamic. So as they dig, you have all different levels. Amazing. Another spot, this is the museum. We could basically easily spend all day just walking around and looking at the amount of stuff they have inside here to see. History upon history. It's just amazing. I would advise anyone, you're in Tunisia, you have to come and take in this experience. So we're out the museum and we're in the courtyard, you know, and everywhere you look, there are things to see. We're going to go down to see the Punic village now. Punic, it's very, very old. That was here before the Romans. So what you're seeing here, behind me, all of these ruins, is the Punic quarter on Bisra Hill. So this is an old village that existed here before the Romans. And it's a proper village. You know, there were houses, jewelry shops, metal workers, everything a village needs to, you know, survive and sustain itself. next site in Carthage, this is the Theatre de Carthage, or the Carthage Theatre. Now this was rebuilt a few times, so it's not really the original structure, but the layout is generally the same. Funny thing is, I've lived so long in Jamaica, the first time I've seen Shaggy in concert is in this theatre. It's still in use today. So now we're in another location. It's the Thermes de Antonin. The Thermes de Antonin. Basically the baths of Antonin. So this was an area like the rich upper class Romans would come and have their baths and massages. It had steam houses, hot and cold spas. Those guys lived it up even a few thousand years ago, man. So we're going to take a look around. You can see behind me, that's the ruin for the bath. This is really only the basement level you're seeing. This was actually 2 or 3 stories tall. It's still great that we still have this, but remember, this used to be a much bigger, taller complex. Look at the details on this. This would be like a column, not a column, a beam running on top columns. Look at the details of how they carve these things. I don't know if you all know, but I'm a graphic designer by training. We used to spend hours upon hours trying to perfect it using pencils. And it was so difficult. These guys did it in stone. I'm literally walking through history here. Amazing. Punic. Here used to be a big commercial complex back in the Phoenician and Roman days. Hannibal, you know, that great general, he launched a lot of naval attacks on Rome from this area. There's not a lot of ruins remaining. It's still important in Roman history and Phoenician history and whatnot. Right around me, it's a circular shape. Right around me there is water, and this is the Roman ruins. That's the only thing remaining of like the great structures of the big commercial Port Punic. Alright guys, that's all the different places we've been to in Carthage. We're now leaving Port Punic. It's a little bit in the evening now, so you know I'm gonna wrap it up here.